You came out with a video on YouTube and you said that you spoke to Jay-Z's son.
So listen, I did a jacket for some boy ordered a jacket for me. I be painting and all that. And he said, "Yo, man, my man is Jay-Z's son. He wanted to talk to you." Like, I said, mind you, the first thing I thought, like, this nigga lying. I said, all right, well, I'll talk to him. But young boy, the chef. So I talked to him. I told him, I said, listen, young man, I don't want you to do the video with me because it's gonna look like I fished you out. And I'm trying to do a video with you because you Jay-Z's son. I'm trying to hate and all that. And I said, plus it's gonna be a lot of backlash on you. I mean, people gonna say they're not gonna believe you and all that. So I don't know if you want to do it with me first.
We don't want the future to be corrupt, y'all. We don't want the future to be the same as we've been living. As far as right now, we see what these judges are doing in the world right now, which is nothing. We see what these lawyers are doing. Some are great and some are corrupt. So we need to just fix this problem.
I could have easily get the money off of him and all that shit. And I said, I ain't gonna even talk about this shit until you talk about it first. So when I see he talked about it, that's the only reason I talked about it. But he said a lot of stuff that I still ain't said yet. Like that's unbelievable. But they anytime a person make you sign a gag order and all that type of shit, that means you really must believe that's your son.
You took an unprecedented stand to fight for this marriage. I mean, to fight for it and to put it all out there. What is it about this marriage that's so special that you would fight this hard to save it?
Well, it's my soulmate. It's the person I love, and you can be in love with someone. You can love someone and if you haven't experienced love and you don't understand it and you don't have the tools to move forward, then you're gonna have complications, period.
If it turns out Jay-Z really is Rymir Satterthwaite's biological father, he might owe way more than a DNA test. We're talking millions in back child support, legal damages, even emotional trauma. And with a court finally forcing Jay-Z to respond by July 18th, that door's wide open. Let's talk real consequences. Because if Rymir's telling the truth, Jay-Z didn't just deny him as a father, he allegedly used power, lawyers, and dirty tricks to keep the case buried for over a decade. That's not just shady, that's legally dangerous. Back in 2011, a DNA test proved the man listed on Rymir's birth certificate wasn't the dad, and his mother, Wanda, made it clear she'd only been with two men, Robert Graves and Jay-Z. Robert was ruled out. That leaves one name, and if Jay is the father, then technically he's dodged over 30 years of child support. And here's the kicker. Wanda was allegedly 16 when Jay-Z, age 22, took her across state lines and hooked up with her in Brooklyn. If true, that's not just a paternity issue, and that's a legal time bomb. That alone could have made Jay-Z run from that DNA test like it was a lawsuit, because if prosecutors ever touched that claim, it could be criminal. But now the paternity case is finally moving forward, and Jay-Z's officially been ordered to respond. And if it's proven that he is Rymir's father, he could be sued for back pay, even if Rymir says he doesn't want the money. Because here's how the law works. In some states, back child support can still be pursued by the state itself, especially if public assistance was involved at any point in Rymir's life. We're talking tens of thousands to millions, depending on how the court rules. Now add in emotional damages, think about it. Years of being denied, ignored, allegedly blackballed, and smeared. If Rymir's story holds up, he could sue not just for money, but for intentional infliction of emotional distress. And that's not even the wildest part. Rymir claims people connected to Jay-Z's team tried to offer him a record deal, then turned on him the moment he said no. He says someone even shot at him after filing legal papers, posted bullet hole photos and everything. If any of that's provable, that could open Jay-Z up to a whole new level of liability, maybe even criminal conspiracy to intimidate a witness. And let's not forget the alleged fraud in court. Rymir's team says Jay-Z's lawyers lied under oath about whether Jay ever lived in New Jersey, a technicality that stalled the case for years. But Rymir pulled receipts from Beyoncé's own mother, Tina Knowles, who allegedly confirmed in her book that Jay did own Jersey property. So now that excuse is dead. And let's be real, if this wasn't true, why fight so hard to avoid one simple DNA test? Jay-Z's lawyers have used everything. Jurisdiction loopholes, delays, technical denials, even allegedly getting judges and lawyers to look the other way. But now public pressure is rising. 50 Cent's posting about it. Nicki Minaj is reposting interviews, even throwing shade at Jay's entire Rock Nation empire. And Nicki's not just talking about Rymir. She's accusing Jay's team of blackballing her, shadow banning her content, and even trying to destroy her family. This isn't just one person going after Jay-Z, it's starting to look like a pattern. If Rymir wins this case, It won't just be a DNA result, it could lead to lawsuits, depositions, back pay demands, and potentially open the floodgates for more people with similar stories. Jay-Z's silence used to be a shield. Now it's looking more like a strategy, but that clock is ticking. The court gave Jay until July 18th to finally answer. If he stalls again, the judge could move forward without him. And if the court sides with Rymir, Jay-Z might not just lose the case, he might lose millions. So what do you think? Is Jay-Z hiding something bigger than a paternity test? Should Rymir sue for damages? And if Jay is the father, should the courts force him to pay every single cent? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story is about to explode.
If you're not the father, why you ain't just get this done and over with? You know, my mom was a dancer. She used to go to a couple concerts with our friends, and basically they went to an apartment building. You know, they relaxed in children. You know, had sex.
Has Jay-Z or any of his people tried to reach out to you to maybe like squash you from doing these?
I mean, I wouldn't say they trying to stop it, but they definitely don't want it out there. I would say that. It's crazy to me. You know, I'm not asking for no money or nothing. I'm not asking for no handouts or nothing like that. I work every day. I take care of my family. Only thing I'm asking for, if it's not the truth and there's nothing wrong with the Supreme Court, like, you know, just get it over with.
Yeah,
Just get it over with.
Yeah,
I
you
was
just
gonna
want the
ask that.
answer.